Okay, I've had a kind of a difficult summer with my hives. This one, at least as of 2 weeks ago, hadn't come up out of the first brood box after 3 weeks. And that was the combined hive. Um, I'm going to check it now. If they've come up into the second brood box, then I'll put a honey super on, the shorter box where they'll start storing honey. It's mid-July right now, and usually I've got a honey super on or two on by now. And so I'm a little disappointed in what I'm seeing. And then this hive here, crud, almost looks like they're getting ready to swarm. A lot of bee activity out front. A lot of bee activity. And this one has kind of a normal amount. And then this one just has tons and tons, you can see. So this hive should have been booming, but the queen came up and started laying in the honey super I put on 3 weeks ago. And I couldn't get that to stop. And so a friend that's a beekeeper said, just throw a second honey super on and hope that she goes back down to lay her eggs in the brood boxes, those two big boxes below. That's where she's supposed to just lay her eggs, and they raise the brood, the young. And then they come up into these smaller boxes to store the honey. So I'm going to open that up and see if that did the trick. But if she's come up and she's laying up in those honey supers, then it's just a crazy queen bee. And then what I'm hopeful though is she's gone back down and they stored honey in these, and I can throw maybe a third super on here and a first honey super on here. We've had a long dry summer since May or the first week of June. I don't think we've had any rain other than like a 5-minute storm here or a 5-minute storm there. And so I don't know if that's affected the nectar flow, but we don't have as many blossoms. This field right here is normally alfalfa growing pretty strong, but they cut it really early. I think because they didn't run the sprinklers this year for some reason. And anyway, so all those blossoms were gone very early. And they didn't put water back on it. So we'll see how it goes. Let's open this big hive first. I'm going to attempt to do this in a way that you can watch. I'm going to suit up here. Suit up and get my smoke going. Trying to do this at it's about 10:45 because it's getting up to 80 degrees now, which doesn't sound hot to some people, but it's hot for Star Valley. Ah, shoot. I left my smoker back in the garage. I'm going to go get it. I'll shut off the video. Okay. Got the smoke going. Gonna glove up. Hope I don't light this field on fire. It's really dry this summer. Kind of crazy. Got my tool. Let me turn to you guys so you can watch this box I'm gonna open. Make sure it's still going. Okay. I see good bee activity. A lot of propolis. See a lot of bees in the top box here, but oh yeah, good honey in there. So you can see there's quite a bit of honey stored in there. They've capped the top half there, and they're working on the bottom half. The frames next to it look equally as good. If this looks close to full, I'll throw another honey super on top. Feels like they're just starting to work on these frames. I always forget to bring something. I wanted to check this to make sure she's not laying in there. I'm just going to check some of these side frames to make sure she hasn't come up in here to lay eggs. I don't think she would, but just in case. Woo! Look at all that honey dripping off. They're doing a weird comb building job here. But yeah, this looks full enough. I think I'll throw another super on. I'm going to set this dry super on the ground right here and set this wet, or it has honey in it, and you're going to see honey dripping here when I break this open because they've created some. Yeah, she's laying in here again. I can see the pupa. I'll show you here. So, see those pupa there? That means there's, I don't understand why she's laying up in here between the boxes. This should just be full of honey. But let's open this up and see what's going on if she's laying in there. I'm just going to clean this up by taking these off. And then I'm going to break this open to see if she's still laying in here or what's going on. they're really building some crazy comb in here, like not leaving some gaps that should be left, and it's kind of a weird hive. Yeah, see, she's laying up here. Now this is what it should look like, just capped honey, but she's laying some stuff. See down at the bottom of that frame? I don't know if it's in there or not. She's got some cells there, which I don't understand. Yeah, she's laying up in here. Looks like they've hatched everything out and now they're just storing honey for the most part. But she's got some cells in here. I don't see any active cells, so it looks like she went back down. Yeah, and they're storing honey. So it looks like she probably stopped laying here, although she laid across the bottom on that one. Let me check these. See what's going on. Yeah, see that little bottom row there of little capped cells? I think those are drone cells. There's a big old drone bee crawling around in there. So hopefully they'll fill that out with honey as the summer goes on. Just cap it, and she'll stop laying up in there. Let me make sure she's not laying in here. Yeah, this is all capped honey. So I think she has stopped laying. Tough thing is here, they're doing such weird stuff with the comb building and laying across the bottom that trying to jam these in here again isn't the easiest. So because that looks so good, this is mostly filled with honey. She has stopped laying. There's still a few drone cells across the bottom, and they're mostly full of honey in here. I'm going to put a third super on here. So it feels like this hive has gotten back to what they should be doing, and hopefully has a really good, productive summer. All right, now for the next hive. Bees are, I think they're so preoccupied with making honey, and now that the summer's rolling along and they're back to normal behavior, the bees seem much more calm. They're not pelting me in the face and stuff like was the case. So we've got 3 supers on there, and that's exciting. And good, really good bee activity. I threw the stuff I scraped off down there that has honey in it down here. They can collect all the honey out of that and do what they're going to do. Ooh, here's a dollop of honey. I'll get that at the end when I open up this mask and eat it. All right, let's try and put you guys right here. Hopefully that's recording. You can see. It's kind of hard doing this by myself. Look like the nectar flow is going strong right now. And I think this summer, instead of harvesting in September, I'm going to do what I've done a couple of years and harvest as late as October. Just crank the heat in my garage so that the honey flows. Get some smoke going here. It's pretty dark smoke. I don't know why. All right, cross your fingers. We see brood activity up in this second box, and we can put a super on. Oh man, that's a tight hive. I see comb built that wasn't built before, so it's promising. Let's come here in the middle and see what they're up to. Oh, good. Yeah, see, we got brood. Need to be careful that the queen's not in here. So they had built out this arc around the sides and top of honey and prepped every frame for brood laying, but she hadn't started laying. We've got a little bit there, kind of a weak pattern. Let's see how she's doing on the other frames. So I think this is probably ready for a honey super. Nope, no brood on that frame. I don't like that. I need new gloves. These are just a half inch too long on my fingertips, and then I grabbing my gloves instead of tools and frames. That one feels heavy. Nope. These are filled out with honey on the sides, I can see. I thought about reducing this to a single brood box, which I've never done before. Yeah, that's full of honey. Nope. Yeah, this hive just seems like it's not really as active as it should be, or as filled out as it should be. I combined two hives here. If there's brood on this frame and the one next to it, then we'll put a super on. Oh yeah, that's full of brood. See how full that is? Gotta make sure the queen's not on here. It's a big drone. See how full that brood pattern is? So she has come up, and that one's full too. The arc of honey on the sides, top and side, and in the middle should be that thick patch of capped brood that they'll hatch into new bees. Be careful here, because she's probably on one of these 3 frames. So those should hatch out soon, I would guess. Okay. So I think I'm just going to gamble and put a honey super on and let it ride for a couple weeks through July and hope that they come up and start working it. It's probably another week or so away based on what I'm seeing, but now this hive's getting annoyed. They're pelting my face and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a super on, for better or for worse. Might be a little early, but Such is life. Three, 6, 9, 10. I have this one warped frame in here that really screws up this honey super, but I'm just gonna let it go and see how it does. So again, that's early, but then I don't have to disrupt this hive again, and they're getting close to being ready. So. Okay, got some annoyed bees on me. Whew, that was hot. Trying to get these bees off me. Come on. I'm gonna expose my hands with a bee pelting me, so hopefully I don't get stung. But anyway, so we've got 3 honey supers on there, and that was ready for the third. That hive seems to have rebounded and gotten their act back together. The queen's gone back down into the 2 big brood boxes. She's still got a little bit of brood along the bottom of here. It looks like drone cells. Hopefully those hatch out and they're good. I scraped out the weird brood she had laid between the brood box and the honey super, threw that off, and then these are mostly full of honey, almost completely full, so they'll start capping this one hopefully, because hopefully she won't come back up and lay brood in there. And then they'll start putting honey in here, the third one. I might get a 4th honey super on there this summer. And then this one, this is probably 60% full, maybe 70. I'd like it to be 80% full with some more brood. There's about 3 frames of brood. I'd like to see like 5 frames of brood, but such is life. I'm gonna put this on. That's a little wonky there. There we go. I've got that honey super on, and I'm gonna let this one go. And if I can get 1 honey super off this late placement, remember this is the hive that died, and I combined a nuke into what was left of it. Never combined hives before. And I think the queen was like trying to figure out what was going on and didn't come up into that second brood until the past probably 8 or 9 days, 10 days. So here we are, July. It's actually July 21st today. So a little late to be throwing the first honey super on, but I'm going to let this roll into early October and hopefully get 1 or 2 honey supers off this and maybe 3 or 4 off that and go above my annual harvest of 5 gallons of honey and hopefully get like 7. But we'll see. Wonky summer. I'm not sure what the hives are doing this summer.